Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio Workshop. As always, I am joined by Matt Zuri.
Greetings.
And today we are going over a Smart Smelter build submitted by DRY411S. I believe I may have just completely messed that up, and it was supposed to be something else. But anyway, this thing is based off of a Smart Smelter Xeteth made that we use in EarthMap, but this one uses a bit of a different combinator and circuit setup, which I think it's pretty cool. So I'll give a general explanation, and then Zuri gets to go into the circuit specifics because that would be a disaster if I did. But essentially, what this does is this will change production of iron and copper back and forth depending on how much you need. So if you need more iron than you do copper, it's going to dedicate more smelters to smelting iron and less to copper. And what you do is you go to this constant combinator and you set essentially how much total you want in your network. So for this, it's set to just 20,000 of each. So for example, if you have, it tries to meet those requirements. So if you have, say, 15,000 iron already in there, so you need 5,000 more, but you only have 10,000 copper, which means you need 10,000 more, it'll switch most of the smelting to copper rather than iron to compensate automatically. So we have some combinators here, which are then hooked into the substations, which go to the inserters and set the filters. These requesters are requesting both types of ore, and again, the filters are just set based on what you need. So I'll let you take over from here, Zuri, and kind of go over what's happening here.
All right. Yeah, it figures out. It multiplies the available amount from the port by -1, so that the positive signal hitting these combinators are the demand for each. And then it gets scaled by the total it needs demanded, multiplied by 8 and divided by that scaling number. And I'm trying to keep this simple. You guys can, figure it out on your own later if you really want to build it. But then it determines which is more needed, and then set to that 1 to 8 scale, and then those signals are sent to each group of 2 smelters, wide and as tall as you can make this, and still keep it in port range. And then that controls what gets sent where. A problem I've noticed with many of these kinds of smart smelters, though, is that sometimes if you're really short on ore, there'll be lots of copper ore in a smelter that's trying to smelt iron, and it never gets to smelt it. It'll just kind of sit in the box.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So yeah, things can go right with it, but overall, I mean, if you understand combinator circuitry, even on a fairly basic level, this is pretty simple. I don't entirely understand it, but you guys know I'm just really bad with this stuff. I understand like the first half of it, but if you want to take a look, import the blueprint, check it out. And as Zuri said, as long as you can keep this in port range, it's very easy to expand because you don't need to copy the combinator stuff or even change the combinators. All you need to do is just copy the furnaces and beacons, and you can stack it down. You can stack it sideways, I believe, if you make sure to keep your ports in range. Yeah, if I set it like this, that'll work. But you do have to play around a bit to actually get your ports to have all this in range and make sure you have enough charging. But overall, I think this is good. It's not overly complicated. And again, I mean, these stop because we obviously hit our 20K. If I were to bump this to, say, 30,000 of each, things would kick back on. There you go. And after the initial surge of bots to fill these requests, it only takes about 100 bots for this size of a setup to actually keep this running, which is really pretty good. But that's about all. I mean, it's pretty straightforward here. Again, these guys set the filters. I don't know if there's anything else you want to cover or mention for this, Zuri.
No, not really. I mean, I don't favor these anymore. Feel free to build them if you like them, but I really don't like these. I've seen them fail in too many interesting ways.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like super cool and fantastic when it works, but it has the possibility to just completely jam up and not work. There are, I guess, something we could mention really quick, just because people might be wondering, you know, like what you would do in substitution for this. Um, you do something. You do kind of a smart smelter, Zuri, where you don't request two types of ore per chest. What you for yours, I believe, you have two requesters per furnace, and you kind of stagger it like each furnace or each furnace set is dedicated to a certain like thousand of each resource.
Yeah, I have 2 requester chests and 2 input inserters, but instead of changing how the inserter works, it's just wired directly to logistic network and only works if it's below a certain amount.
Right. So it's still kind of smart in the fact that it will only have a certain amount on based on what you need, since each like set is dedicated to a certain thousand, kind of like these combinators and stuff. But it avoids the blockage issue by not requesting two types of ore in the same chest and having your inserters change filters. So that's another option. But anyway, I think that's been good for this one. Love to hear any thoughts, suggestions, comments you have down in the comments. Submissions as well would be fantastic. And I believe that'll do it. Unless you have any last remarks.
Nope, I'll catch you guys later.
All right, catch you later, guys.